Hey everyone, and welcome to Your Infringement Friday. Today I have a really interesting clip that I think is not exactly what it should be. And I want to look at this infringement that supposedly happens here and compare it to the laws and see if we might kind of look at this in a similar way. Because I think what we can see and what we can learn from here is going to be completely interesting. And it all started with this headline. So obviously I'm on social media a lot. I run into everything kind of where, and now this is obviously a very clickbaity kind of title. How little known rule saved Ipswich goalkeeper from being shown red card after bizarre incident. So of course, I'm me, and I have to look into this because this is an odd one, and I need to, that's a title to catch my attention, right? So I want to look at this, and I dug this up and I found it online, and let's watch the sequence. So 1 second here. All right, let's have a look.
Nelson Smil. Bellegarde a tentar jogar de primeira, tentava libertar em Monetes e saiu atrás para Alex Palmer. Ai, 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 que pato! Que pato que ia dando o guarda-redes Alex Palmer. Bom, era o frango do ano. É considerado atraso, portanto é um livre indireto extremamente perigoso. É considerado atraso, pois é. Tem toda a razão o Sr. Peter Banks. É considerado atraso, portanto, dá livre. Bom, e a bola está em cima da linha de pequena área. É livre indireto. Se fosse direto era penalti. E, portanto, tem de haver um toque.
All right, so I let that go a little bit longer because actually there's some value in something else that's completely unrelated to the infringement, and I'll talk about that at the end. But we have a goalkeeper that is in the run of play. It gets pinged around, right? It hits the back of the Ipswich defender, and the other Ipswich defender is now going to pass the ball backwards. And now here we see what is going on here. So in live play, he's putting his foot out. Loses focus, loses concentration. He's not looking down at it. He's looking up here. But he's putting his foot out to play the ball. Misses it. And then
Alex Palmer.
He dives backwards towards the ball, about to cross over the goal line, and it is right there. Now you'll notice there's an attacking player kind of running in, and immediately this player is going crazy for the referee to blow a whistle. And we don't see where the ball ends up out here. It does look like it's going to stay on the field of play at some point, and maybe the attack continues. However, with this, is there actually an infringement that happens here? So let's go to our trusty law book. So here, move that way. So under Law 12.1, this is the section on the handball. The goalkeeper has the same restrictions on handling the ball as any other player outside the penalty area. If the goalkeeper handles the ball inside the penalty area when they're not permitted to do so, an indirect free kick is awarded, but there is no disciplinary sanction. However, if the offense is playing the ball a second time with or without the hand or arm after a restart before it touches another player, the goalkeeper must be sanctioned for the offense if the offense stops a promising attack and denies an opponent or the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So, important distinction is that this is not happening here. It is not a restart that has been touched, that hasn't touched another player. This is from live play. So we automatically are not looking at any sanction for this infringement. If it's an infringement, for the pass back and so forth. However, if we look a little bit further down in 12.2, An indirect free kick is awarded if a goalkeeper inside their penalty area commits any of the following offenses. Now, I'm going to skip down. If he touches the ball with the hand or arm, unless the goalkeeper has clearly kicked or attempted to kick the ball to release it into play after it has been deliberately kicked to the goalkeeper by a teammate, or receiving it directly from a throw-in taken by a teammate. So there is an exception. If they have tried to kick or attempt to kick the ball to release it into play after it has been deliberately kicked back to them, then we are looking at no offense whatsoever if it does touch his hand or arm. So now, here is the subjectivity. And it comes down to the glossary of that's available to us in the laws of the game. And let me see if I can pull that up. Yep, it's right here. Football terms. Let's look at the word kick, right? The ball is kicked when a player makes contact with it with the foot and or the ankle. Now, this definition is as vague as it can be, and it is quite clearly not the objective or traditional understanding of what a kick is. But by the definition of kick here, and the definition of that exemption in Law 12.2, right, where the touches that with the hand or arm unless the keeper has clearly kicked or attempted to kick the ball to release it into play after it has deliberately been kicked to the goalkeeper by a teammate. That is what it's happening here. Oddly enough, it is. And there's going to be some subjectivity with this clearly kicked because he obviously misses the ball, but he is attempting to kick the ball because he's attempting to play the ball with his foot. So is this going to be a referee mistake? Is this going to be an infringement? Or are we looking at something that is clearly going to be more of a, is it going to be a situation where the referee kind of got forced into a decision with the opponent's reaction? So, for me,
Bellegarde a tentar jogar de primeira, tentava libertar em Monetes e saiu atrás.
He's putting his foot out to play the ball. It is a goalkeeper mistake. That is the attempt. Now, whether or not the attempt by law is to put the ball back in play, as in that he's swung his foot at and so forth, is this an infringement? Very subjective, and I want to know what you guys think. Is this Peter Banks, who is the referee in this sequence, is this him being pressured by the Wolves attacker to give this free kick because it's an obvious pass back and he obviously I want to know, what do you guys think here? Because that is something that I can see this kind of both ways, where it's not a kick to put it back into play, it's merely an attempt to control or play the ball with his foot, which does satisfy the definition of kick, but then there's that further explanation of into play. And because he hasn't clearly kicked it, as in he's not controlled it, maybe it's touched his foot. Has he attempted to? I want some help here, because this is where we look at this, and I can see why some referees would say, no, he's attempted to play the ball with his foot. We're going to go with that exemption over under 12.2, excuse me. Otherwise, you're in this situation where you have an indirect free kick inside the six, because Peter Banks actually does a phenomenal job in setting this free kick up. I'm going to mute it here so that I can continue talking over it. You can see he's setting the ball. He goes, okay, I want this ball. He's adjusting it backwards just by the slightest amount. He has all of the defenders on the goal line, right? He has Even the Wolves players, he needs to make sure that they are a yard away by law, right? So he's making sure of that. He's ensuring everybody knows that they have to be back on the goal line, right? And then when that doesn't happen, right? He's talking to everybody right now. This is amazing. This is good stuff here. He finally walks back, puts the arm up. He's still talking. He's still warning. He's still making sure everybody knows that he's paying attention. Then he sees the goalkeeper run out. It's probably 2, maybe 3 steps here. For encroaching, he's immediately giving the goalkeeper a caution for that, because he's been setting this up. He's been talking about it the entire time. The entire team is recognizing that, listen, this is it. This is how it is. The referee has set the expectation here, and he's doing a phenomenal job to make sure that this is what happens. Now, issues the caution, comes back, and now everyone resumes their position because the referee has done so well, right? And now there's a few steps like forward and everything, but for the most part, they're all on their line. Now, yeah, maybe one of them, just as that ball's being touched, he's sprinting off, but it's so close, and honestly, it comes to really nothing as far as that goes. But I'm even questioning if this should have been a free kick in the first place. So I want to know what you guys think of this whole sequence. Because is this a rare rule that the goalkeeper didn't get sent off? I don't think it is. I think it's a fairly obvious one because it fits clearly and totally within the laws, right? The yellow card for the encroachment is, I think, perfectly fine. But should this have been a situation where we played on and we allowed the play to come to a natural conclusion? Or is this something where the referee kind of caved in the pressure of the moment? I want to know what you guys think. How would you guys handle this sort of situation? How would you handle this sort of vague area where the goalkeeper is clearly trying to play the ball with his foot? There's no question about that. But is that going to be enough to mitigate 12.2 and the direct pass back and then not being able to do it? It's not like he went down and immediately picked the ball up, right? He tried to play it with his foot, misplayed it, however you want to say that, and then realizing it's going to go in the goal, dove back and scooped it off. What do you guys think? Are we giving that free kick, or are we just allowing play to continue? I know which way I would lean, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So feel free, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you guys again for Motivation Monday. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. I'll catch you guys on Monday.